What's up, guys? On today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to safely remove tire rubber marks from the track on the M3 here, which has no clear bra, and the same thing on the AMMO 964 that has a full clear bra. Now, the question is it easier to remove it without a clear bra or with a clear bra, and what are the steps to do it safely? Find out today on this episode of Drive and Protect. Guards all the way in. Touch our paint on. Can hear it.
This is my buddy Jonathan's M3, and of course you know the AMMO 964. Last week we drove at New Jersey Motorsports Park for a 3-day event, so that's basically 2 hours a day on the track driving behind other race cars that kick up marbles or slag, which is various sized chunks of rubber that has been worn away from the tire through friction, pressure, and heat. These hot rubber bullets hit your car at speed and then cool and stick to your paint. And at the same time, as we're driving, we're plowing bugs on the track, so when you get home, the car is a complete disaster. Before we get started, I want to preface that both cars are wearing AMMO Reflex and AMMO Skin. Now, in particular, I always put AMMO Skin on the paint immediately prior to driving on the track to make life a bit easier when I get home, so keep that in mind. Click the link above to watch the How to Prep Your Car for a Track Day video to see all the steps you should do prior to going to the track. To compare the removal process of bugs and rubber on a car with clear bra and a car without clear bra, I'll be doing the same process to each car at the same time to make my life a bit easier and to give a fair comparison. Step 1 is to mix 2 squirts of AMMO Brute Wheel Soap in a bottle with warm water and gently shake it. Afterwards, spray the warm Brute mixture on the nose of the car and let it sit, soaking the bugs for a few minutes. Brute is a much stronger soap that's great for bugs and grime found on the lower portions of your car. I also tweaked it so that it would specifically work on brake dust as well. Hence the reason we primarily use it as Brute wheel soap, but it works great as a bug softener too. With the bugs soaking, step 2 is to complete your wheel cleaning process. Obviously, with a car this dirty, there's no sense in just cleaning the rubber. That would be insane. So do one wheel at a time in the normal fashion. Now, I have a ton of videos on this topic, but for a quick review, first, make sure your wheels are cool to the touch. Heavily rinse them with water, spray plum on the rims, and let them sit for about a minute. Start at top dead center and work your way around the spokes with your wheel woolly and Brute wheel soap in your wheel bucket. Next, use the lug nut brush for tight spots, then use the wash mitt for the face of the rim. Afterwards, clean the wheel wells if necessary and if you have access to them, then rinse and move on to the next wheel. Reapply your Brute water mixture to the nose of the car if it begins to dry out, so keep an eye on it while you're working on the wheels. Now for my car, I'm going to be using the quick jack to lift the car up, remove my track tires and replace them with my street tires, and at the same time do a visual inspection of the rotors and pads, etc., so my car's sequence may be different than yours or the M3. For step 3, we need to wash the car to see how much will simply come off during the wash. On a car this dirty, I highly recommend a foam gun or foam cannon from a pressure washer. This will coat the normal driving dirt and carry most of it away with less chance for scratching. If you have AMMO Skin paint sealant or your favorite sealant on the paint already, you may remove some of the light marks during your natural wash process, but do not scrub harder or put more pressure on the wash mitt. If the mark doesn't just come off during a regular wash, that's okay. We'll get to it after we dry the paint. For now, just get the paint clean so we know what we're up against. At this point, the bugs should be relatively easy to remove with a regular wash mitt, but I recommend cleaning the nose and the trunk of the car last during the wash phase, as they are usually the dirtiest spots. Use a second or separate wash mitt if you have one for those particular spots. For stubborn bugs, lightly using a bug sponge with plenty of soap lubrication is okay as a last resort. Again, I have a ton of videos on washing and drying paint safely, but specifically the AMMO Training Academy goes through the proper step-by-step process of washing and drying your paint. So let's fast forward through this cleaning portion of the video and get to the rubber removal. You can watch all these training courses on my website at ammonyc.com and click on Training and Beginner.
Okay, both cars are cleaned, dried, and we pulled them inside. All the bug guts are gone, but we still have some rubber left behind. Now you may be asking yourself, why did we do all that work? Well, think of it like this: when you go have surgery or whatever, like I did on my knee, you take a shower before that, or better yet, going to the dentist, you brush your teeth. Everybody brushes their teeth before they go to the dentist. You wanna, when you're working and you're gonna do surgery on something, you wanna have it nice and clean and not be dealing with any mud or gunk, or these were really, really bad, so it was a smart idea. Okay, now, as most of you know, I'm a huge advocate of using the least aggressive method possible, whether you're wet sanding, compounding, polishing, whatever it is. You you barely want to just you know, kind of like sniper the problem. You want to repair it, but you don't want to blow everything out. Same idea as using a fly swatter instead of a bazooka. You just want to kill the fly. You don't want to take down the entire house. So with that methodology, I'm going to play a little game with your brain here. So a lot of people always ask me, hey, when I'm at the racetrack, what's the quickest way to get the rubber off the car? I said, the quickest way, a screwdriver. And they go, oh, come on. And I said, I'm playing with your brain here. You asked me a question, what's the quickest way? I would say probably a screwdriver to get that off. And they go, oh, okay. And I said, okay, what's the next best way? Probably hydrochloric acid is the fastest way. Well, you're going to destroy the paint. And I said, well, yeah. And I go, oh, okay. So again, I'm kind of doing this on purpose on camera. So at some point there's a line. You get to that line where it's like, okay, you use a degreaser. And everyone goes, okay, yeah, that's what I think this video is going to be about. Show me a degreaser. Now, that's relatively safe using air quotes around there, but it's still removing a lot of other healthy things around the paint that you want to leave on the paint, like waxes and sealants and coatings or whatever. You're sort of you know, beaten at it, and you don't want to do that. So let me explain a little bit about rubber. When you have this slag, I brought some here. Of course, I put it on black gloves, but when you have the rubber slag, basically what happens is that comes off the tire when it's really, really hot. So you have a lot of heat, you have a lot of pressure and friction, that whole thing, and it basically pulls off these little chunks off of you know, slicks or track tires. And when you're right behind a car and you're driving, all of a sudden these things flick up pretty easily. So what do I mean by that? What's the point of me telling you that? They're very hot. And so when they're hot, they land on the paint, and then by the time you get around the track and the whole thing, you get into the pits, they cool down, and then look, they're very hard to get off. Now, our normal way of removing them is to do that with a degreaser. I'm sort of challenging that a little bit and saying, hey, let's use our head a little bit more and not damage the rest of the paint. Let's not bazooka the rest of the thing just to get this. Let's be more of a sniper. So what we're going to do is heat this up with a heat gun, and then we're going to use this other trick that I've sort of discovered over doing this for a while, but I can't quite figure out the chemistry behind it. But essentially, we're going to be using AMMO skin, which is a sealant, which is a good thing, which is what was on the car beforehand and my car. Again, I'm using this car as the example because it's blue and there's black. My car is covered in the exact same thing, but it's black, so it's harder to see. So we're gonna heat this up with a heat gun, and we're gonna use AMMO skin, and I'll show you how quick it comes off. I think you guys are gonna be shocked on how easy this actually is, and you're not actually damaging the paint. You're not doing something where you're like, is it hurting what's underneath? Very simple. First, I have a Wagner paint gun right here. It is a professional grade, so I'm not really sure if you can use a hairdryer. You can try it, but we are going to be putting this on low. You're going to heat this up. When I say heat it up, I mean you're just getting it warm. You're making it so it's not ice cold because it's getting cold outside, right? That's about it. Maybe 10 seconds. Remember, this does not have a clear brow. We're going to do something different in a second. You're going to take a microfiber towel, wrap it around your finger. Right, here's my finger. You take AMMO skin, plop it on there. Do you see how much is there? And watch. You're going to spread it on there, and you're going to gently push or rub. Actually, I'm not even pushing. You're barely doing anything. Look, can you see that on camera? I got to pull the camera in and show you before it's all gone. But I am barely pushing. I'm going to show you right now with just one finger to show you how lightly I'm doing it. I put this on there. Look, I'm barely pushing. I don't know how to prove that on camera. Like, that's it. Nothing. So idea here is, yeah, is it going to take you a little bit longer? I think very slightly long, like almost nothing. But are you jeopardizing the paint? No, this is sealant. You're putting sealant on the paint, and it's working. So why would you use a bazooka, like I said, when you can use a sniper? This, to me, makes sense. So I'm going to do this on the car. Yeah, I'm going to put my headphones in. It'll take me 15 minutes. I don't know. There's not that much there, and you can see how long it takes. You just barely heat it up. You're not boiling the paint. You're not doing anything remotely even dangerous to the paint, and you're fine. So let me finish this, and then I'll show you what we do on clear bra. All right, so I just finished the M3. It took about 15 minutes, maybe plus or minus 2 or 3 minutes. It wasn't that big of a deal. And at the same time, I was putting skin on the car, so I was helping myself maybe on the back end and saving some time there. So now on to the AMMO 964, and it's fully clear broad. As you notice, I lifted up the car. I'm taking the wheels off and putting my street tires back on. At the track, I use R888Rs, unbelievable tires from Toyo, by the way. And a lot of you have already asked me on a bunch of other videos, the quick jack. I'm using the 5,000 pound quick jack. This car is 3294 wet. That's how much it weighs. That's a side note. I know I'm going to get a bunch of comments on that. So onto the clear bra. Now the clear bra gets put on, and on the back of it there's some glue. Makes sense, right? You let it dry and do the whole thing, and it lasts a couple years. We've shot 100 videos on this. So what we're not going to do is use a heat gun. If you use a heat gun, you're going to heat up the glue behind it, and even if you just, you know, this can get out of hand pretty quick. So you know, meaning it could get too hot too fast. Don't even play games with that. So I'm not going to heat up the clear bra for fear of peeling it off or having it lift you know, prematurely, which is not what you want to do. It's very simple. This one, and I have Expel Ultimate on here. Hopefully you guys seen the video of the install. Quite cool. An amazing bra. And one of the attributes of these clear bras is you can put skin on a microfiber towel like we did before, and literally just come in. Did you see how light that was? I barely put any pressure down. I went like this. Watch, I'll wipe it off. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. Done. It's really that simple. I wish I had a more complicated thing to talk about for 20 minutes on camera, but that's it. You're just going to put some skin on there. And again, give you a heads up, I did put skin on this before I went to the track. I think that's a good idea. If you use some sort of sealant or whatever it is that, you know, is your favorite, that's fine. Use that. And you'll see that it comes off easier. If you didn't use it, it's still going to come off pretty easily. You know, with these new clear bras, they really expel. You know, they really push out a lot of the stuff that you know, that you see, the track stuff and the bugs and all that. It's pretty easy to come off. Now, on the glass up here, I'll shoot a quick little film there, but I'll just describe it. If you get rubber on glass, don't waste your time with skin and doing microfiber towels. Take a razor blade in 2 seconds, just go, just razor blade it and it'll come right off. It's really simple. So that's how you take rubber off your car safely. Now, we could have done it much quicker and much, you know, just spray the whole thing down in one wipe and you're all good. But like we talked about before, I'm not a big advocate of that. And if you love your car and you want it to, you know, maintain that look, I think spending the extra 2 seconds and doing it wisely, you know, is prudent for sure. So if you guys have any questions, shoot me an email at larry@ammonyc.com. As always, thank you so much for watching. And there are worse things than having track rubber on your track car. That means life is going well and I get to enjoy the car, and I love sharing these videos with you. So if you have any questions, as always, I'll talk to you guys soon. One quick thing I want to mention is I actually had Jonathan do me a favor and put a strip of this thing called track tape. Now, let's back up a little bit. I know a lot of you guys who want to go to the track and maybe you're the first time going to the track and you don't have a clear bra and you're worried about getting peppered in the front, which is a legitimate thing. But what people do is they put masking tape and they spend, I don't even know, 20 hours or whatever artistically putting masking tape here, and inevitably it flies off and it flaps in the wind and it's kind of annoying and it just doesn't look very good and doesn't really help a whole lot. But they make these kind of disposable things. This one's called track tape. Tracktape.com is spelled with T-R-A-K-K. So I got some of this to test it out. Again, I put it here on Jonathan and some of the lower rockers. Now, the quick you know, analysis of this is it worked pretty well. Is it as thick as clear bra? Obviously not. You simply peel it and place it. It's not very complicated. You need a scissor to cut it though. You're not really going to be able to cut it otherwise. And when you put it on, there it is. So, you know, it's pretty good. You basically put it on, pretend you cut that off. And when you're done, you just peel it off. And it definitely does protect some here and there. And like I said, I had it right here on Jonathan's, and it worked pretty good. I just wanted to make sure I gave you another option, because when you see somebody roll up with blue tape everywhere, you kind of go, oh boy. So there are other options. It's relatively cheap. Find them online, and it works pretty good. You know, at high speeds, it will start to flap. It'll get you like a day or two at the track at most, and then you rip it off, throw it in the garbage. Anyways, just wanted to tell you a little bit about other options other than clear bra and you know, masking tape.